Hey guys, it's Miss Jones. Today we are going to learn about poetry, and we're going to learn about the different types of elements of poetry and what poetry is. Okay, so we're just going to dive in deep. So poetry. Or poem is created by putting words together in an interesting way to express a feeling, create a mental picture, tell a story, or make a sound. Poetry entertains the ears and the eyes. Sometimes poetry will be written in the shape of a picture, and that's a different kind of poem. It can be just a regular poem. So poems can be found in many places. You might have a collection of poems in one book, all written by the same author, like this book by Shel Silverstein, Where the Sidewalk Ends. Or you might find a collection of poems written by various authors but printed in the same book. This is called an anthology. So it's like this one, The Seasons. It has many different poems by many different people, or poets, as we call people who write poems are called poets. All right, so this is our poetry part. So make sure you're paying close attention to this part. All right. First up, we have a stanza. So a stanza in a poem is like a paragraph in an essay. A stanza is usually repeated by some blanks or separated by some blank space. Common stanza lengths are 2, 3, 4, 6, or 8 lines. So if we look at our poem here on the side that says Winter Song, this section right here is a stanza. So this would be stanza 1. Then we have this section right here, and that would be stanza 2. And then this section right here would be stanza 3. If you see, it has different lines in each stanza. So like this says, common stanza lengths are 2, 3, 4, 6, or 8 lines. If you look here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 lines in this stanza. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines in this stanza, and 6 lines in this stanza. So a stanza is a section of the poem that's separated by that space here. Okay, so there's always going to be that space. And it's usually going to have numerous lines or multiple lines in it for it to be a stanza. Okay? All right. Next up is a line. So a line in a poem is like a sentence in a paragraph. Sometimes poets use punctuation to mark the end of a line. Sometimes they do not. So a line would be just like this: rain and wind and wind and rain. That's a line in the poem. Another one could be rain on houses on the street. That's a line. Rain and wind and wind and rain. That's another line. Will the summer come again, wetting all the people's feet, though they run with might and main. So each one of these separate lines is a line. See how it's just this one part. That's one line. This one part, 2 lines, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 lines there. Okay, next. So now we have a verse. So a verse is similar to a line, but it might not be a full sentence. So this is one that's not a complete sentence. So like this that's bolded here, it says, though they run with might and main. We know that's not a complete sentence. So that would be a verse. Okay? But like with this, will the summer come again? That's a complete sentence. That's a question. So that wouldn't be a verse. But the verse would be when it's not a full sentence. Okay. Moving on down. So now we got our elements of poetry. We got our rhyme. The repetition of end sounds is called rhyme. So that would be like this: snow and sleet and snow. Will the winter never go? What do beggar children do with no fire to cuddle to? Perhaps with nowhere warm to go, snow and sleet and sleet and snow. Now look, snow and sleet and sleet and snow, so snow. Will the winter never go? So snow and go rhyme, okay? But then we go, what do beggar children do? Now, do does not rhyme with go and snow. So we're starting another rhyming scheme is what it's called. So what do beggar children do with no fire to cuddle to? And you see to and do rhyme. So they're part of the same rhyming scheme. Then we go here, perhaps with nowhere warm to go. Remember, go doesn't rhyme with to or do. Snow and sleet and snow. And snow rhymes with go. So we know that they're part of the same rhyming scheme. Most poems rhyme. They're going to have some kind of rhyming at the end of each line. Okay, so let's go right here and you'll see what I'm talking about with the rhyme scheme. So the rhyme scheme of a poem can be determined by making rhyming lines of the poem with the letter of the alphabet. So you'll start off with the first one, snow and sleet and snow. We talked about that. Well, the winter never goes. So we talked about how snow and go rhyme. So they're the same rhyme scheme. So it's been labeled with A because they're the same in the same rhyming scheme. But we go down to the next line. What do beggared children do? Do does not rhyme with go or snow. So this is the start of a new rhyming scheme. With no fire to cuddle to. To doesn't rhyme with go and snow, but to rhymes with do. So this is its own rhyming scheme that we've labeled with B because it's different than A. You can't use the same letter or else it gets confusing. So this is one part with A, and then we have our second part with B. But then you'll notice we'll go down here, perhaps with nowhere warm to go, snow and sleet and snow. We use those same words up here. And because we use those same words, it's the same rhyme scheme as the first one. So we mark it with A again. So the rhyme scheme is A, B, B, A. And you can use any letters, it just has to go together. So you can't do A here for snow and then B here for go, because that represents two different rhyme schemes, and snow and go are in the same one. So they have to match. If the words rhyme, then their letter has to match on the side. Okay. And we'll look at that more. So you don't need to know about rhythm. And all right. So let's go over to your worksheet. All right, right here, elements of poetry. Right here, what you're going to do is you're going to type in the part that goes in each section. So you see how these arrows are pointing. He's really just a mutt. I just love that little nut. And you have a word bank there, okay? So this is rhyme, right? So that would be our rhyme, right? Mutt, nut. So that would be our rhyme. So we would type rhyme. Then we have right here, it points to all four of these. And we know that is a line, because those are the lines. Then we have the start. So my puppy isn't pretty. My puppy isn't pretty. So that would be our, what do you think? What would that be? All right, I lied on this one, y'all. So it's representing all four lines. And we know when we look at all four lines, when we put them together, that is a stanza. Look at that. Even Miss Jones makes mistakes sometimes. All right, now look here. You see how the first sentence, my puppy isn't pretty, and then over here, my puppy isn't pretty? It's the same sentence, which we would use repetition for that one. Because repetition is when something is repeating. And we saw that that line is repeating there. Okay, now look at this one. It's just, but every time we snuggle, that one is pointing to one line. So that one would be our line. And then these three I want you to answer by yourself. So tell me the words you have left are meter, mood, and theme. Need to go right here. Figure out which one goes with which. Okay. Then you're going to come down here to your rhyme scheme. And remember, like we said, so if the two words at the end rhyme, they're in the same rhyming scheme. If they don't rhyme, then they're in different ones. So my cat is my best friend. Okay. I'd love her to the end. Friend and end rhyme. So it would be AA. Okay. If I'm upstairs or down, now down doesn't rhyme with end or friend. So we're starting a new rhyming scheme, so we can use the letter B. She follows me around. Round rhymes with down, so it would be B as well. So let's do this one together. Popcorn and peanuts and gallons of Coke. So it's our first line, so we'll use letter A. Yelling so loudly, my throat is now hoarse. Horse doesn't rhyme with Coke. So this one would be a different rhyming scheme. So we'll put B. So that's different. So horse and Coke are different. Bases are loaded, cheers from the folks. Folks, does it rhyme with horse? No. But folks rhymes with Coke. Folk, Coke. So this one would be A. Folk and Coke. So Coke is A, then folks is A. Crack goes the bat, a home run, of course. Does course rhyme with Coke? Mm-mm. Does course rhyme with folk? Mm-mm. Does course rhyme with horse? Yeah, so that means that it would go with the same rhyming scheme as horse. If horse is B, then course is B. So now I want you to try this. You can use the letters A and B. You can use any letters in the alphabet. Just make sure if it rhymes, they use the same letters for each rhyming word. Okay, so like we did here with Coke and folk, we had A, we used A. And with horse and course, we used B. We didn't put Coke and horse as A because they don't rhyme. It doesn't make sense. We have to make sure with the rhyming word, the rhyming words have the same letter, okay? All right, when you're done with that, you're going to come on down and you're going to read the rain. So you're going to read the story about the rain. Tell me how many stanzas there are, how many lines. What's the rhyme scheme? So this here, you're going to do this again, but with this poem. Tell me what the rhyme scheme is. So our rhyme scheme with the cat would be A, A, B, B. And for the game, it was A, B, A, B. So then for this one, you would put something like, it could be A, A, B, B, A, B, A, B, anything like that, okay? Do lines, you're not doing number 4, so don't do number 4. Tell me what's the mood of the poem. Remember, the mood is how it makes you feel. So how does it make you feel? What's the feeling you get from the poem? And then tell me what the theme of the poem is. What's the poem about? So what's the theme? And then you're not doing number 7 either, okay? All right, so that should be easy peasy, and I hope you guys do great. I know you will. If you need any help, I will be available for you guys. Yeah, all right, bye.